Hi there, it's Bibi Cameron, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Europe, and today I will show you 7 ways to work with the Stampin' Up seasonal decorative masks. They were the free thank you gift I sent to the customers who added hostess code in August, and I thought it might be a good idea to show you how I use them to make different things. This product is incredible value for money. You get 4 masks, these ones here, and if you see, you get 4 different patterns to create backgrounds for your paper craft projects, but you can also use them on fabric, wood, metal, glass, or any other surface. They are made of this kind of plastic or a very thick acetate. Maybe it's not acetate, sorry, but looks like a very thick acetate. They are flexible and very easy to use. Okay, so I'm going to put this to one side. I'm going to bring my big shot because I'm going to emboss with the mask. And this is the first way I'm going to show you to work with the mask today. I'm going to grab the big shot platform and then the embossing plate, just those 2 items. And then I'm going to place this rubber mat on top. This is an embossing mat. You can get it from a local craft shop or online. And right on top of this embossing mat, I'm going to place a piece of whisper white cardstock and then the decorative mask. The decorative mask has a glossy side and also a back side, but it really doesn't matter which side of the decorative mask you place against the paper. It's not going to make any difference. And then I place the other embossing plate on top, and I'm going to use 2 sheets of printing paper. This is regular printing paper. Just like that. I can also put it underneath the embossing plate, like so. And I'm going to run this through the machine. Please pay attention to this specific thing here. This doesn't have to crack or make any strong sound. It has to go smoothly, soft, gentle, okay? If you feel that the handle of your embossing machine is too hard to move, you need to remove paper from that sandwich just to avoid damaging the decorative masks. And this is the result after following that simple process. Super simple and super beautiful embossed paper. Okay, the next thing you need to bear in mind when you are working with your decorative mask to emboss paper is that the mask is just the size of the embossing plate. If you see here, it's just exactly the size, and it's exactly the size to go through the machine. It's 6 inches width. You have to pay attention. It doesn't going to crash against these edges here because you are going to damage your decorative mask. Okay. And then another thing is when you are going to use this paper here as well, make sure that the paper is completely covering the paper you are going to emboss or your artwork. And this is because this printing paper edges can get completely embossed on your paper as well. Apart of that, this is super easy and it's a straightforward process. And this is the result of using the other decorative mask. Okay, so I'm going to speed the camera to show you how the paper looks embossed with the other 2 decorative masks in the back. I love this one. I really love that one. I think it's just super elegant and very nice and soft. Love it. So now I'm going to use the dots. And ta-da! So as simple as that, you can emboss paper using this decorative mask. Here I have the 4 different patterns and I absolutely love this. It's so much fun. And I made some easy and quick cards to show you how this embossed paper looks in the background. This is another example of a card made using the decorative mask for the background and also to heat emboss the banner. And now I'm going to show you how I use this mask to heat emboss. So this is a second way you can use to work with this mask, and I simply going to place the cardstock with washi tape on the mask like so. And I'm going to do exactly the same I did in the previous example. This is real red cardstock. I need to make sure that the cardstock is embossed, and then I'm going to apply Versamark ink or a clear ink. I found that when embossing the paper previously and then heat embossing, I get better results. And I'm also using a non-stick mat to work on top of it because this is quite a bit sticky. So all I do is just slide the ink pad like so on the mask. Then I'm going to carefully remove the mask and I'm going to apply embossing powder. I'm going to use gold embossing powder by Stampin'. And I also forgot to do something before, is applying embossing body powder to avoid to get sprinkles of embossing powder everywhere. For example, I got some here. So what I'm going to do is using a brush to get rid of them and then heat emboss. I really don't like to forget using the embossing body because this or cleaning the excess of embossing of your image is quite time consuming. So the best thing to do is just using the embossing body to avoid this and then heat emboss. And here I have a very easy and quick card made with that paper. Just in case you were wondering, you can apply the embossing body like that, the powder like that, and then after, place the decorative mask on top using the clear mark ink like so, and then removing the mask and apply the embossing powder and then heat emboss. Sounds like a lot of steps, but if you know already how to emboss, it's exactly the same. I just wanted to show you how to do it using the embossing body and the results. Then you will notice that I don't have to remove anything from that cardstock with any brush. It's just simple like that. And then I heat emboss. After heat embossing, I use a baby wipe to clean the excess of powder from the cardstock, like so. Then I trim the paper edges and it's ready to go. I'm making very small samples of paper with this technique just to show you how I do this, but you can make larger pieces if you want. Then I use a wipe to clean this mask and to make sure they are ready when I need to use them the next time. Now I'm going to move a little bit forward and I'm going to show you a third way in which I use the decorative mask. And in this opportunity, I'm going to add color using daubers. But before adding color, I really like to emboss the paper. So I just emboss the paper as I showed you before, because I really think that when you emboss the paper before adding color, the color looks better in those raised areas. It's kind of different when you just apply color without embossing, and I'm going to show you that as well. And the difference is basically because as I'm applying ink on those raised areas of the paper, it's kind of easier to do it. So I can also apply color in different colors in different parts of the cardstock. I also can make the gradation of the color, or I also can add shadows with my daubers in some parts of the image. Just applying a single color here to make a Christmas card as well, but you can use this to make any kind of cards or any occasion cards, as it's so easy and fun. I really like the results of embossing and adding color later. The difficult part of this is removing the washi tape from the cardstock. To avoid tearing the paper, you can apply heat with a heat gun and then remove the washi tape. And you are done. And here I have a very easy and quick card made with Peaceful Pines stamp set and Perfect Pines frameless dies from Stampin' Up. I also made this one here, and the difference is that I emboss the paper, I remove the mask, and I apply ink all over the paper using daubers. And let me show you very quickly how I do this and how I apply paper like this on cards. So I'm going to grab a piece of paper that I previously embossed with a decorative mask, and all I have to do is apply ink all over it. I also use a clear block and I press it down against the impact, and I get some ink on that block. So I take the ink from the block and I apply it directly on the cardstock, like so. Or I can also take directly the ink from the ink pad just with the dauber. I just found that when I use the clear block to extract the ink from the ink pad, I get more ink also on the dover. But if you do it using a clear block or not, it will work. So here you have an opportunity to play and to explore color blending. You can use different ink colors, blend them. You can go as bold as you want, or you can also apply light ink colors. And it doesn't matter how bold you go, you will always be able to see those raised areas in the paper, and when the ink dries, you will notice also a change in the color. So here I have a card sample made with that background. I have to say that it's not my favorite, but it's just an example, as you can make so many different things with this. And I also made another one, and I use it to make a banner and also the petals of the flowers. I think that paper add a little bit of interest to this card, and it's just a very small example of the things you can make with this kind of paper. You can die cut or punch any shape from this paper. Okay, now I'm going to show you another way I use decorative mask. This is kind of the traditional way to do this, and it's just to transfer that pattern on the mask with inks on that paper. I'm going to use Marina Mist now, and I'm simply going to use a dauber to apply the ink all over the paper with the mask on. And I firmly hold the mask in place. There is another traditional way to use decorative masks or stencils, which is to apply embossing paste, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'm finishing here, and this is the result. I'm going to do something extra to this paper. I just think that it looks a little bit naked, just like that, so I'm going to stamp some words. You just can grab a bold font or a bold stamp like this one, and I'm going to stamp all over this paper. I could also use another ink colors or another stamps, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this video. Okay, so now I'm going to use Dapper Denim ink. This is a beautiful ink. It's a quite a bit darker than Marina Mist, and I'm going to stamp over, just like that. And here you have two easy and quick card samples made using that paper in the background. I used two different decorative masks here for that purpose. And now I'm going to show you another way to use decorative mask. This time I'm going to stamp with the decorative mask. So I'm going to apply ink on the mask. I'm going to set up my embossing machine like I did before. And I'm going to place the paper, and just on top of the paper I'm going to place the inky decorative mask. Just like that, I'm going to place a piece of paper there, and just on top the embossing plate. I just use the paper to avoid getting the embossing plates inky, and also because the paper is helping me to make some pressure on that decorative mask and the paper. So here I go. This is the result. You will notice that it has a distressed looking. It's not completely perfect like if you were stamping with a proper stamp, and it's also embossed. If you don't want to emboss the paper, all you have to do is remove the embossing mat from the big shot, and that's it. But if you emboss the paper, I will show you something you can do, is that you can use another color of ink and apply on that raised area. I'm applying red again, okay? But it will look quite a bit lighter. But if you use another color, that color is going to show up in that raised area of the paper. So I'm using here a distress ink. You can also use any ink you have and explore color combination. Or after stamping with your decorative mask, you can do nothing, just leave the paper like that. Now I'm going to trim this paper because the edges are so raw, and then this piece of paper is ready to go on a card. There you go, an easy and quick card made with this paper. And to finish, I'm going to show you another way to use decorative mask. It's just to apply a simple embossing resist technique with watercolor paper. This is just to show you that you can even emboss thick papers using this mask. Remember that before heat embossing, you need to use always embossing body. So that's what I did. I just apply embossing body powder, and I'm going to place the mask using also washi tape to hold it in place, like so. And I'm going to run this through the Stampin' Up! Big Shot. The only thing I'm going to make differently than before is that this time I'm going to set 8 sheets of printed paper. So I'm going to fold in 4, one sheet of printed paper, and then I'm going to do the same with another one here, and I put 2 of them like that. So I have 8 sheets of printed paper there because I realized that this is a thicker paper, so it needs a little bit more of pressure. So let's see, look at that. So the paper is perfectly embossed. You can just leave it like that. It looks absolutely beautiful. But I just want to go a little bit forward, and I want to show you an embossing resist technique. If you are going to apply an emboss resist technique, do not remove the mask. As I did, I have to apply embossing body again, just to make sure that the embossing powder is going to stick where it have to. And I'm going to try to place the mask on this watercolor paper the best I can. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but it's just to show you, okay? I'm trying to find here the way this mask goes on that paper. And I'm going to use washi tape again to keep it in place. Another thing you can do at this point is grab a spray and spray some ink on the watercolor paper. This watercolor paper is just perfect for that because if it's designed to receive a large amount of water, while the cardstock is not. So if you want to spray ink and water, you can do that as well. After spraying ink, you can also decide if you want to continue with the embossing resist technique or not. But now I'm going to apply clear Versamark ink. I need to make sure that I'm applying all over the paper. As I cannot see, I have to double check. I'm doing my best here just to show you. And then I remove the mask. If you see here, you can see the glossy of the clear ink, and I'm going to use clear embossing powder, just like so. And as I used previously the embossing body, I don't need to use a brush or anything to get rid of the excess powder. It's just like that, and I'm going to heat this up. And now all I have to do is applying ink with aqua painters, like so. I could use any ink color, 2 or 3 kind of inks. I'm just going to keep it simple as I said. This is Pear Pisas ink, and this is Garden Green ink. I could also use sponges or daubers to do this, but I prefer aqua painters because it's quite easy and quick. Once I finish applying the ink, I'm going to grab a wipe or a damp cloth, and I'm going to wipe off that ink on the embossed area. Just like that. And this is the result. This is the paper. It's just a wee example. And this is a card sample made with the paper.
Hey, hey! Step it up! Worldwide! Here we go! On my way up, 'cause it's up to me. Growing and feeling possibility.
I could stay here and show you many different variations in the technique to make a bunch of things with this decorative mask, but I think this is a good start. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that's all for today. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, visit my blog for more ideas or inspiration, or to order Stampin' Up! Products anytime. Thank you very much for watching, and happy crafting. Bye!
Passion and share from the heart. Imagine the things that I can do, and I love what I do, so I share with you. Oh, on my way up, 'cause it's up to me. Growing and feeling possibilities, and I'm loving and exploring my creativity.